Dude, I love that. When
Nico, hold on. I got a text real quick from DJ Zeddy. I hope you have a super time watching Black Adam. Let me know what you think of the movie. It doesn't matter what you think of the movie. Just kidding. Please text me what you think of the movie. Enjoy. Mahalo. This comes from DJ. Just DJ in my phone. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Dude, I'm good, man. I love that animation. I won't lie to you, when you sent it to me, I didn't watch all 25 seconds or however long there was because I just thought it was that. I love that it's time to get electrified. That got me electrified. All right. So first of all, if you're watching, if you're not, if you're someone who's going to be hanging out with us, thank you for spending time with us. We also went away for a bit, but we're like,
with the JSA, we've always been around.
We're like your car keys. You'll always find us. And we were planning on being off actually till tonight, but there was so much stuff that happened. So we did a show Monday. And then on a busy weekend, we got so many awesome pals who are always so gracious to us to come hang out with us, even for a little bit. But Zed, how are you feeling? I feel like we've been thinking about this movie for a while now.
Feeling hype, man. I think we said it on our last show. This movie truly went from just being another DC movie that everybody was hyped about, and then just in a span of like 2 weeks, it's one of the most anticipated.
Well, there's a
DC movies, and there's a very big reason why. We could all jump around that. We don't have to get cute here. But yeah, look, man, I'm hyped, man. I'm excited. I'm electrified.
We got both Chris's in the comments, and even Chris Jansen says, glad to have you guys back. Thank you. It's glad to be back. My dad can't be here. He's unavailable tonight. Actually, fun fact, no one will be able to guess where he is. He's at the Harry Styles concert right now. He's having a ball at the Harry Styles concert right now. So I hope he has a blast. So
I don't think he has to worry, darling.
That's funny. That was actually not a bad film prior to critics' belief. So anyway, we're just going to get right into this. It's one of our tailgates, as usual, where we just have a bunch of friends on, get excited for the movie. Something rare, Zeddy. We have someone for the first time who's actually already seen the movie. So we're going to make sure they're not going to spoil anything.
Are you feeling a bit jet lagged right now?
He might be feeling a bit, but it's a better organization than the Chicago Bears. I'll tell him that. I would much rather be where he is. So Zeddy, why don't we start bringing people on? We are going to be rotating some people in about 35, 40 minutes or so. But we're just going to roll with what we got here. And can we talk about Nico's mustachio? Yeah. So actually, fun fact. Actually, wait, I want to address this first of all. I was convinced he might, Chris. He used to be a big concert t-shirt guy, actually. I was convinced to be Ted Lasso for Halloween. So I'm starting to train it now. And thank you to all you actually for getting me to watch Ted Lasso, Zeddy. So we're training it now because I want this thing full and fluffy by Halloween for no particular reason. All right.
Hey, Nico, it does smell like potential. It does smell like potential.
As long as it smells like potential. All right, start throwing some.
All right. The man from New York himself, the man who has seen this movie, like Nico just said already. So here with non-spoiler reactions from Straight Outta Gotham, from Batman on Film,
Mr.
Eric Holzman.
The champion of Long Island, the snowman building champion.
Oh, the snowman. That's another good one.
I have so many names now. It's crazy.
You're the champion of like 90
Aquaman himself.
Aquaman.
Yep. Keep it going.
King of the sea. King of the seven seas.
Let's go. Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This is fun. We haven't done something like this in a while. So it's really good to be back. To be working with you two guys on a show. I haven't worked. Nico, you and I did the Obi-Wan review for SOG. But that's the last time I worked with Zeddy. I don't remember the last time I worked with you, man, but it's great to be here. And I can't wait to spoil the movie for all of you.
Like, what if you did? How wild? Just like, what if you did? No.
What if I did? No. I'm not that type.
Can you confirm that Black Adam is indeed in the movie?
Is The Rock in the movie?
The Rock is also in the movie.
Are there cool costumes in the movie?
Very cool costumes. Very cool characters.
Is there anything blue in the movie?
A couple of things are blue, actually. There's a couple of blue things in the film.
Settle down.
So
settle down. Settle down. Are Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie? Because that's all I really give a shit about.
Is
I
Black
don't want to
Panther
say
in this movie?
I don't let you guys know. I kind of got to keep that to myself.
For sure.
You know, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, I mean, do you want me to talk about it now, or are we gonna...
So what did you think of the movie?
All right, so I personally loved it. The best thing about it for me was it knew exactly what it was. It didn't try to be something else. It embraced that, and it just went with it the entire thing. It's 2 hours of basically nonstop action. There's not a lot of interruptions going on. There's not a lot of slow periods. So it's very, very fast-paced, fun. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this film. If I said this, I did a little quick review the other day for SOG. So I said, if you liked Aquaman, you're probably going to like this.
That's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news for me. This is Zeddy, it's on yourself.
I know.
Wait, what happened to Eric?
I could be the voice from above.
Oh, there he is. There he is. No,
he's the Wizard of Oz
Eric,
today.
thank you. I like the Aquaman comparison because I thoroughly love Aquaman for exactly what it is, and it sounds like I have seen a lot of people say the movie does know and embrace what it is. That's kind of what you're saying, so that's cool. We're looking to get way more thoughts from you. Spoiler free later. Zeddy, who's next?
All right. Well,
we have The Rock here, actually.
I was gonna, you know what? You read my mind. I was gonna say it's funny that we're talking about The Rock.
So if you're watching,
when we actually have the people's champ himself here,
Dwayne Johnson is here
from the Nerd Room podcast.
Yeah, no, Dwayne Johnson's here.
Finally, The Rock has come back to the live stream.
And it did not disappoint.
Well played.
Mr. Carlos from the Nerd Room. How are you, my friend?
I am doing extremely well. I'm electrified, so to speak. So, yeah, I'm happy that the only one out of the group that's seen the movie is Eric, because he's the only person I can trust to conduct himself spoiler free and with some decorum. So that's awesome, and I'm just hyped to be talking about this movie. It feels like, actually, no, it doesn't feel like. I know for a fact the very first time ever my brother Tim from the Nerd Room let this strange, bald, tattooed brown guy into his basement. The very first time ever I was on the Nerd Room, I called this movie being a big thing, something happening in this movie that may or may not happen in the post-credits scene. So since that day, like, I don't know, like 3 years ago or whatever it was, I've been looking forward to this one. I love Black Adam. I love The Rock, and to see those worlds collide is amazing for me. So I'm hyped. I'm super grateful that you guys invited me to be on tonight, and let's get it on.
And we got to tell you, Carlos, you've been a few of us, probably a lot of us in this chat, in the screen or on the screen today, have kind of like at various moments, you know, with DC or with this film in general, have kind of waxed and waned, but you've been consistently buying into what The Rock has been cooking. You've been the #1 taste tester. You've been the #1 champion of this film. So not only are we happy that we have you here for that reason, I hope it delivers for you, my friend.
Man, thanks so much for that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I do feel like there's a few times that I was the only guy standing on the mountain there. But yeah, I believed, and like I was saying to even Eric just a couple hours ago, like it really feels like they put the work in. So I'm praying that they reap the benefit of that, and you know, see some reward for all the hard work and the dedication, and just this really seems like a labor of love for them. So
it does. That's a beautiful take. Also, really quick, I have to ask, who is Eric Trollsman in the comments? Because this is not.
Do you really need to ask? Do you really need to ask?
I think we know who it is.
There he is. Amazing. On himself. Carlos is better than The Rock. Well, that is true.
Whoa, look at that.
That is true. That is true.
Well, they're one and the same. I mean, you know, how could he be better than, you know, just
warming my, you know what, for 15 seconds when I hooked up Chris with a pre-order today, like I was better than The Rock, maybe. For that 15 seconds.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So Zeddy,
you did indeed hook it up with shipping to the US, my man. That is true. That is true. You know, you do deliver on that front.
Zeddy, I think it's only fitting that we complete the Nerd Room to keep going here.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Because one is always after the other. Timbo. Oh man,
the start of this stream has just been incredible. All the attitude references in your opening video were amazing. All these like very subtle but not subtle rock references, amazing. Happy to be here, guys. Appreciate the invite. Tailgates are always a blast to get hyped for the film. We got a week left until this hits our eyeballs, and really looking forward to it.
Love it. And we've all had crazy lives here. We normally do a V30 V the Nerd crossovers that we've all been busy for. So it's good to have you back, and hopefully this could rejuvenate those going forward. I know Tim moved, I moved. I'm back at the original spot now, but a lot of craziness going on, but we're here when it matters. The calls were answered. Also, Zeddy, I gotta say, you have a habit, you made that quote sound so powerful, but one is after the other. I'm gonna start using that. One always comes after the other, but no, happy to have you guys. Let's who you bringing on next? Because I have no control.
That's right. You don't.
I don't.
So you need to know your role and shut your mouth. I'm
just here. You're the Amanda Waller, Zeddy Waller.
That is a deep, deep pull, my man. Please don't take me seriously. Everything is good.
Zeddy Waller is taking it.
That's
as
right.
I have to put this up.
I've recruited all of you. That's right.
Javi, bless you.
Oh man. Damn.
Well,
some high praise
I mean, at that point, we gotta restore the Javi-verse and get Javi on the screen. I'm making that executive choice.
It's funny you should say that.
Put him on the screen.
Well, that feels weird, but I'll allow it. There you go.
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Look at that. All right.
Look at that. We got a team, a society or something we could form.
Something like that. Something that would.
Some might say we're also a league, but we could be a society too.
Maybe a society at first and then turn into a league.
Could be. Javi, for you.
I feel like avenging right now. Anybody else?
Stop.
You're speaking my language now, brother.
So, Javi, you've had your Javi-verse in the Spider-Man realm.
Yeah.
What's your Javi-verse in the DC realm? And does it start with Black Adam?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I don't know right now. That's going to take some serious thought. I mean, I kind of, in a way, got it with when they did Crisis. I just wish that the CW Crisis would have been a bigger scale kind of event, Sure. But I mean, just the fact that, before we got into the Spider-Verse or No Way Home, we had, how many Flashes meet? 3?
Yeah.
Several Supermen meet. We got to see Alexander Knox back.
Yeah.
Still reporting in Gotham City. That was pretty awesome. So that was a good start. I would have liked if they would have maybe brought everything together more on a big screen scale and, give Bale a 10-second cameo or something.
Yeah.
But, I'm excited for what The Rock is cooking, man. It's been a long time. I couldn't have cared less about Black Adam 20 years ago.
Sure.
But when Jeff Johns started bringing them into the JSA and developing that character and tying them in with the Hawks and then going into 52, that's where I became a fan of the character. And I'm still, I'm not as well versed as some people are, but I have a soft spot for that era of his history, and it looks like we're going to get to see some of that. So I am stoked to see, Adam Smasher get his due, because didn't work out so well for him on the Flash TV show.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fate is one of those characters that just something about it has always appealed to me since I was a little kid. And it's probably because my cousin Rob had the superpowers figure and I didn't, and I wanted it. So I bought many a Dr. Fate figure just because I didn't have a toy when I was 8 years old. But
compensation is real, man.
Exactly. And to have, James Bond.
I was just gonna say,
be Dr. Fate, I'm stoked, man.
I was just gonna say it's huge for you, especially being such a big James Bond fan, to have an iconic James Bond actor play really dope DC characters. So that's amazing, my friend.
Eric, is he good in the movie?
He's arguably the best thing in the movie. You can definitely make that. Yeah, you can make that case that he's the best thing in the film. Both him and Hawkman, Aldous Hodge's Hawkman.
Oh, that's what I love. Yeah. Oh, Daddy Bats will be through the moon to hear that, my friend.
I'm glad I got that out of Eric. You see, I'm very strategic.
Can we baseline something right now?
Yeah,
of course we can.
In the span of a week's time, Black Adam, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, these could all be household names in 2 weeks' time. How crazy is that to think that not only household names, but that potentially Black Adam is the character that pivots everything and kind of gets the ball rolling on the big screen again. Like you say that even 2-3 years ago, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's pretty wild when you step back and you think a character like Black Adam specifically. Yes, Dwayne was always going to be or make this character something big, but like with what Eric's saying, what you're hearing online, and the kind of the fandom building up around this, it's quite remarkable that it's going to be a household name. He's on Under Armour. He was on shirts at NFL games. Like, this character's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
but that he's going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with some of those popular characters across comic book film in just a week's time.
It's crazy, man. Well said.
Yeah. Zeddy, let's keep the society going.
All right. Well, where there's a Black Adam, there's also a Batman. So from Holy Batcast, making his first appearance on the Vigilante 1989, Andy DiGenova. Andy, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Good to be here. It's my first virtual tailgate, so be gentle, and I appreciate the invite and meeting people, seeing faces for the first time. My lighting's a little weird, but forgive me.
You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. What? Seriously, I just love that. Like, when I pitched Andy being on the show, he was like, "So what exactly goes on at a virtual tailgate?" I was
I was like, "What do you need me to do?"
It's funny I'll show up, because everything goes on at virtual tailgates, man.
You do flip onto plastic tables.
That's right.
I have a little grill over here. Is that
Bill's
right?
Mafia, Bill's Mafia style.
Okay, good.
All right, so Andy, the same question that everybody else has got. Black Adam, how you feeling? Where's your mind at? Hit us.
I'm psyched for it, honestly. I mean, I think I don't know what I can say that's different from everyone else, other than it's been a long road, and it was one of those things where it's like, his own movie, okay, sure, I guess, for The Rock, if he wants to make it, sure. But once I started seeing the trailers and everything, and then when I realized they were going to incorporate the Justice Society, I was like, this is really cool. This is awesome. Like, Black Adam alone would be cool, but the fact that it's still taking the time to expand the DC universe on film is really exciting. To what all you guys were saying, like, Hawkman in a movie, I've been waiting for that forever. I've always loved him since my Superpowers Hawkman action figure. And we got a taste of him in the Arrowverse, but budgetary restraints. So I'm super psyched. And Aldous Hodge is such a great talent, and I thought that was brilliant to grab him for that role. And then all the trailers, each trailer was better than the one that came previously, and now we're hearing how good the movie is. So I'm psyched. And 5 years ago, if you'd have told me how psyched I'd be for a Black Adam movie, I'd be like, but I'm here. I'm into it, and I can't wait.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming, man, and so nice to meet you officially face to face.
Yes.
Yeah, same all around.
I just gotta say, Andy, it's wild to me you were probably one of the first kind of fan space podcasts that I ever listened to, man. So
wow, thank you.
To be here and then have your voice coming out of the same show that I'm on, it's awesome. It's like dreams fulfilled. I'm like the guy in Toronto that won the costume contest and got to hang out with The Rock.
Great.
You got some love from the comments here from Emmett. Shout out to Emmett, who should be on here, but I understand you have some that you got to take care of. I hope all is well.
God
my
bless.
Friend.
Yeah,
wishing you the best.
So,
he's got a couple more.
We got a couple more people. So another longtime listener and friend of the show. We got Travis.
Mr. Travis.
Hello, hey.
Oh man, how's it going?
I'm feeling pretty super. Not gonna lie.
There it is. There it is. There's
After
another
being
one.
told
Everyone's
to
gonna
hopeful-
take a drink for every time somebody says the word
Another
super
one.
here. There you
And
go.
everything Eric has said about the movie is all up my alley. I loved Aquaman, and it was a hit with general audiences, as the $1 billion would indicate. So, I'm really excited about this movie. I can't wait. And it seems like The Rock has a plan, and that's kind of a nice thing. That's something we've been asking for. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
We will come.
It's
back
so
to
great
this
to have
comment.
you. We've done a few shows before. You do the superhero discussion, you do the DC Alliance, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of different shows. We talked about Spectacular Spider-Man when I was on, which was great.
Yes.
It's a great cartoon, my friend.
I'm now scrambling to try to get 6 weeks of content because Rick and Morty randomly decided to go on hiatus for 6 weeks.
That's what they do, right? I've never watched, but that's what they do, right?
Not that long. This has been the longest
not that
break.
long.
So yeah,
And all the writers end up in the MCU, right?
Batman, Superman, Battle of the Super Sons. That's on deck. I've already got that half.
Got it. I love it.
Nice.
I love it. Zeddy, last but not least, where's Mr. Adam?
Last but not least,
Where's King Zaddy himself?
Mr. Canada himself, Mr. Toronto, as I call him.
Zack Snyder's favorite.
Zack Snyder's favorite. Zack Snyder's own. Adam. How's it going, man? Uh-oh. I think you're muted, brother.
No, I think it's just on a delay.
Is he? Okay.
I think Zack Snyder muted him.
Yeah,
Zack
Zack
Snyder's
Snyder.
not amused. He has the power. He can do what he wants.
You got hacked by Cyborg.
Apparently.
Trash talking.
Looks like we might have jinxed our brother in Christ here.
Yeah, we might have jinxed him.
All right.
We
will let you figure that out, my friend, and we will bring you right back. All right.
When Matt comes back on, Z, when you see him down there,
yes,
we'll add him.
We sure will. All right. So
wait a minute. Oh no, he heard us. He heard us. Okay, wait.
Oh no, he comes a knocking.
Oh, Matt, what's up, brother?
Hey everybody, how we doing?
Hey, Matt.
So
Matt, good buddy. Yeah, how are you?
So few things I have to intro for Matt. First of all, he is a new father. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Congrats, man. Today.
I love it. He's also a news anchor for Central Illinois. And the coolest thing, we both come from the same fraternity, and we were roommates at a fraternity conference. And all these years later, we're doing podcasts together, which is super cool.
Great.
Awesome. And you've interviewed people from Titans. You've interviewed Brenton Thwaites, Brian Edward Hill, Joshua Orpin, all the above. So when Titan starts, we're going to get you even back on here. But that's spoiling down the road. That's what the MCU does. So let's talk about DC. Matt, talk to us about Black Adam. What's your hype level? What do you know? Tell us what you're thinking, my friend.
As you guys can tell in my hat, I'm super excited for this movie.
There's another one. There's another one.
Round it up, everybody.
You guys are going to be so disappointed.
I was just thinking that, man, Eric.
I'm super excited to hear what Matt thinks of Black
What if it
Adam.
doesn't happen? What if it? That would be something else. The internet would burn down.
Yeah.
Matt, are you super excited for Black Adam? Tell us.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm pumped to see it next Thursday night, opening night here in Peoria, Illinois, going to AMC. Not seeing it IMAX opening night due to some scheduling stuff with my friend, but a couple of days later I plan to see it in IMAX because I feel like this is a big screen type of movie. Not to sound like Harry Styles here, but I think it will be really good. I've said it before. I know a lot of you guys have echoed it as well. I think The Rock just knows what he's doing. He's a businessman on top of entertainer from his pro wrestling background. When I grew up with him in the WWF and WWE, and now he's doing awesome things for the DC universe. I'm excited, like for the first time, to really have this overall excitement for the future of DC is really a breath of fresh air. I mean, we had the Batman, which I was pumped for, but this is a little different for me. So I'm super excited to see it next week. I mean, I feel like I've seen spoilers on Facebook, Twitter. I can't get away from them, but that's just the name of the game. So
yeah, it's just been, super entertaining to watch the
Jesus. It's funny because just as you were talking there about kind of the hype level and it feeling different, and I've got like mid-phase. I don't like draw. I don't want anyone to get mad for drawing this comparison, but I got like mid-phase 2 vibes off of this, like the excitement level behind it. It's where it's like people are like really amped up to get to the theaters and amped up to see the story that's put in front of us and like potentially, you know, the grander implications and all that. And like people are just like it's I don't get that for even MCU movies anymore. Like I'm kind of like, maybe I'll see it in a couple weeks or maybe I'll catch it in 45 days on Disney Plus. But this one I am like foaming at the mouth to get to the theater to see this one. And I haven't felt like that for like a quite a long time. Maybe the Batman was maybe the last one, but like it just feels different. It feels like an event. You know, maybe Black Panther will get us there, but like I'm not even thinking about Black Panther right now, and it comes out like a couple weeks after Black Adam, which is wild.
That is crazy.
Zed, we'll try Adam in one sec, but I want to add on to that point that Tim and Mr. Sheen beautifully set up, and it kind of segues into what our first topic was going to be about The Rock himself. I know we talked about him a lot so far, but I think we need to keep talking about him. I agree with you. It feels different, like the both you said, because The Rock is such a star power, and he's so likable, and he's such big box office that to have him in DC's corner finally on a press tour, right? He's been doing it. He's been doing the fandoms and everything, but that's not necessarily what the whole general audience sees. Now that there's the trailers and the TV spots, he's going on talk shows, the press junkets going out. Everyone's able to see that showman he is. And you're right. This does feel, the Batman was so masterful in what it was, but we also knew going into it, it was going to be this like self-contained like thing. And just by the way The Rock's talking, this does feel like a rebirth. I mean, which is on brand for DC, right? It does feel like a rebirth of the DCEU. And with a guy like The Rock, who's been not only preaching about this movie, but he keeps talking about his love for DC, his love for the brand, his love for the characters. So it's really cool to have this guy in our corner. I'm going to try to bring Adam on one more time, unless his internet is being screwed with by Cyborg. Adam, can you hear us? Are you here? Say something. Damn it.
All right. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. All right.
Adam, what you can do is you can call me and I'll just hold the phone up to the mic. We'll try it.
Okay.
It's
try
like
coming in and out of the stream, man. You got it.
Right. We'll try you again in a few minutes.
All right. But Nico, Javi actually has to bounce here in a few minutes. So Javi, give us some
all right, sorry, James Bond.
Closing thoughts and I think go from there.
Well, no, I just want to echo what everyone's been saying. Like I'm getting excited. Like it feels real finally after years and years of him saying it was going to happen. Like, and all like the fandom teases. Like we're finally here, which is awesome. But Zeddy, I know you share the love that you have a super spot in your heart for Smallville. So up to this point, who is your favorite Hawkman, the Smallville version or the Legends of Tomorrow Arrowverse version?
Oh, you gotta go.
Come
on, man.
Smallville version, man.
That's easy.
Come on.
No disrespect.
Like no disrespect, but
No
I mean,
disrespect,
but I mean, hey, to your point though, isn't that wild how like my introduction to the JSA was Smallville.
Yeah.
And it's like I never really thought I would see these characters again. And it's like how Smallville actually did those characters so well, just to see them again in this big screen capacity. I'm hyped for them now because I don't think I really appreciated them as much back then as I did now. But yeah, the Hawkman, man, just to get those interactions was pretty cool back in that time, man.
Yeah, it was such a small like segment when they actually had their big team moment. Like that was all they could do back then with the money they had, and now we're gonna get to see like multiple Dr. Fates trying to contain Black Adam. Like it's
absolutely, it's just super cool, man.
We're all gonna be drawing on ourselves by the time the stream ends.
Stop it! Stop it! Some of these people didn't know me back then.
Didn't Nico trademark that?
Stop it, Eric. Leave it. Some people didn't know us back then. Leave it that way. No one go back and watch that stream. That was a fun time.
Nico's a real Super Saiyan over there, man.
God.
Let me tell you.
Perfect. Well, Hav, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank
we will
you for the
restore the
invite,
hobby.
Thank you, brother.
And I'll actually see you on the Spidey Council on Tuesday, so I'll be seeing you really soon.
Yeah. see you next week, I guess.
All right.
And
All right.
for those
Brother
I
Javi.
just met, nice to meet you, and everybody else, good to see you guys again.
Yeah,
Good to see you, Hav. Take
Javi,
care.
enjoy
Here.
Black Adam, brother. Seriously.
Take care, my
You
friend.
guys too.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Everyone's so nice on this stream. It's super cool.
I know.
So,
Jesus
Eric,
Christ.
we know
Oh.
you've seen it, but
You're all super nice people.
Jesus Christ, Zeddy, come on. So, Eric, now having seen it,
I'm not playing your little game, by the way. I'm not playing it. Number one, because I don't drink, but number two, because Black Adam is about Black Adam. And
I respect that. There you go.
I'm drawing the line. The movie should be judged based on Black Adam
Agreed.
and the Justice Society. Anything in addition, you know what? I like
Cherry on top.
surprises. I like a cherry on top of my sundae, but I'm judging the sundae.
I respect that, my
Man,
friend.
I mean,
And I
Exactly.
think-
I love
he's
that.
got a point.
I think that's a super great take.
I knew that was coming.
So,
Oh.
Mr. Holzman,
Yes.
you've seen the movie, so
Yes.
we're all talking about the potential of The Rock here. You've actually seen it.
Mhm.
What has The Rock brought to DC as himself, and what do you think? We're not trying to think too much about the future, but just seeing the passion that was in this movie and the DC love that came out of this movie. How do you feel about The Rock really being a spearhead for DC going forward after seeing this film?
I mean, like you guys have all said, obviously his personality and the infectious way that he has about this particular IP as well. We know he started this. I think he said in 2005, 2006, sometimes around there was when it really
Been a
started
long time.
to come together. So to know that and that he stuck with it, and there were different versions of what they wanted to do, and he said, "No, I have to make this film. This is the film I want to make." So just from that part of it, without seeing the film, you already know that he's going to be good for the brand going forward. Anytime you have The Rock involved in something, it's going to be good for any brand he's attached to going forward. But having seen the film, I'm going to say this. If you're looking for a typical Rock performance, that's not what you're going to get here.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so he does show a little bit of range in this film. Obviously, if you know the history of the character itself, he's not exactly, it doesn't exactly have a happy past. So that impacts him, and you do see a little bit of range for him as an actor.
That's what I'm excited for, because that's been, if you listen to the show and have heard me before, I love The Rock as a person, and I love the movies he's been in before. My only reservations about him taking on this kind of role is I'm like, okay, and no disrespect to him, I kind of want it to feel like Black Adam or a character. I don't necessarily want it to feel like a Rock in a DC film. So it sounds like all my reservations will be fine, and I'm going to actually walk away very happy from it. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, The Rock himself could tell us what he feels about being in his own movie and being in the DCEU. So Dwayne, can you please talk to us about it, Mr. The Rock?
Man, like I'm excited. Just like Eric said, this guy could have off-ramped at any time because it's been like 10 to 15 years since those first rumblings of him being part of DC came about. And obviously just him and his profile and his fan base are pretty coveted. But this week really cemented it for me. And outside of the cherries on top, as Andy said, that he's brought to this film, it's when he's talking about his love for DC and how much the universe and those characters mean to him, and that he wants to see them shepherded forward in a meaningful way. And like, it's crazy. Like, this guy developed a movie, and we went from a studio that would only do movies that had Batman or Superman in them, that he's bringing not only Black Adam to the screen, but he's bringing 4 Justice Society members, plus Amanda Waller and other pieces of the DC universe. Other pieces like Task Force X.
There you go.
Target.
Oh, you know.
But that's the part that's super excited for me. And I didn't even do that on purpose. But
yeah, you did.
I wonder if any part of this movie takes place in Kansas.
And then to hear him talk about his plans for Shazam and how he rejected the initial treatments for Black Adam because it was just the 2 of them in the same movie, and he's like, no, it doesn't do either character justice. I'm stoked for that, and you know, like there's been a lot of discussion as to the value or the harm that David Zaslav and his mindset and his group have done with Warner Brothers. But I do kind of like that they're letting this guy do his thing because they know that it's the path to success and where they'll make money. Like our boy Troy, like he's just like, we've been going back and forth and he's like, dude, I don't care. Like the things that guy's doing, that he's bringing to the screen under his company, are the things that I like. So therefore he gets my vote, type of thing. So, yeah, if it takes DJ and giving him a bigger piece of the DC pie going forward, and it sounds like they might, like if you read between the lines with some of his quotes, it might be a bit of a brain trust instead of a singular Kevin Feige type of guy.
Yeah.
So
it's a robot anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? If we get the hive mind to combat the Kevin AI, so be it.
Well, I just want to build on that. I want to kind of build on both the things that Eric and Carlos was saying there with regards to like the brand of The Rock and what he brings, and you know, Zatslav's looking at things, and you know, some of the things that maybe he's done is detrimental for like on a creative space, but you know, when you're looking at the pure business of it, maybe it makes sense. Bad business decision would be pissing off Dwayne Johnson and having him depart the universe in a one and done type thing. And just looking at some numbers in the background there, and you know, the guy's got 340 million Instagram followers. He's posted about the Black Adam, say 10 times in the last couple of days. It's probably 1 billion people have seen that.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at how many people watch the Super Bowl, 100 million people watch the Super Bowl. So presumably he's getting 2 to 3 times the Super Bowl eyeballs on every Black Adam post. Yeah. And so like there's literally nothing on the planet other than a Kardashian that can put more people's eyes onto something. And when you have that's how you're going to get to this household name of Black Adam, the brand of Black Adam, the brand of DC, is you attach it to him and let him run with it, let him have some freedom and let him build, because that's what he's about, building franchises, building marketing campaigns. You know, there's so much there that he brings to the table for DC in general that you literally can't pay for advertising like that other than with him. Like you put a spot on the Super Bowl, you get 1/3 of the eyeballs on it. Yeah. Like it's absolutely wild what he can do for the brand of DC, and giving him that space to do it, I think is going to do wonders for the whole studio going forward.
Beautifully said.
Well said. Well said. All right, Travis, same question to you. So The Rock in the DCU, he's been very vocal about how he feels, which is actually kind of refreshing if you ask me, about DC. Theoretically, do you want more of him? How do you feel about him potentially being in this universe?
Well, any fan of wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s, because I hear a lot of The Rock is selfish. He just is for him, which I don't know how you could get that. I see that online, which shocks me. He knows how to build out stars. He actually came back. He was done with wrestling and was gone to acting, came back to push Brock Lesnar for his first big push, and just quit wrestling after that for a long time. So like you see with the JSA here, he's building out these stars. You see with the potential cameo. I am right with Andy on that point of I don't want anyone judging Black Adam on an end credit scene. Hello, Venom 2. Looking at you there. That's what people were most excited for, that more than the movie. I'm more excited for that, but people that are excited for that, I think most of us are for the potential going forward, not for just this little end credit scene because somebody's been on the shelf for too long and The Rock has seen that. He's, like everyone's saying, he's just star power. He's probably next to Tom Cruise in terms of top stars we have in actors. But his marketing is next level. He's like a whole marketing firm onto its own, just because of his followers, all his relentless posts, and like he's literally revered. A baby was handed to him, crowd surfed to him to hold, and he didn't even speak to the guy who owned the baby. He just made eye contact with him, and the guy cried. So why wouldn't you want the 2032 president of the United States in the DCEU? I think I would. So, yeah. If it comes up for me, I'll take more from it. And that's the problem too with some of these characters. We need more appearances from them. You go too long without appearances. That's one of the greater things of the MCU. You had 3 Iron Man movies, and then you had him scattered around other appearances. Same thing with Thor, Captain America. So that's what I want. I want more appearances. I want to see Hawkman go off on his own story. I have a very bad feeling, just personally, that Dr. Fate's not going to, well, Pierce Brosnan's not going to make it through this movie, just because of an interview where Pierce Brosnan was talking about all his skills, and then The Rock slides in and says, anyone who wears the helmet has the powers of Dr. Fate. And I'm like, oh,
Eric, stop it. Stop it. Stop
it. I don't know.
I don't like the sound of that because I love Pierce, but I'm really excited for this, and Rock's really good at building out stars. So, yeah, 100% more with The Rock, more advisor role like Todd Phillips. Have Rock advising on some properties, just things pushing forward. Sounds like he wants a JSA versus JL showdown.
Oh, that would be super. Speaking of super, Mr. Andy, your takes on The Rock in the DC universe moving forward.
You guys all said it very well. I mean, he's such a huge asset to have in our corner in DC fandom. We're so lucky to have him. We're so lucky that he's passionate about the character and about the universe. Thank God. You guys are already kind of getting to it, but I mean, right now, just with the current state of Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Films, and all the stuff that's happening, however you feel about it, it's a very precarious time, and so it's a really tough time to be promoting this movie. I mean, all we're hearing is they can barely afford to promote the movie, right? Yeah. And so the fact that The Rock is taking it on his own able shoulders and is this one-man marketing machine, God bless. Like, we're so lucky to have him, because he is out there pounding the pavement and kicking ass and making sure that everyone on the planet knows that Black Adam is coming. Like, if you could bottle up his enthusiasm, you could sell it for $1 million. So thank God he stuck to it. Thank God the movie looks good, but oh my God, he is working his butt off to make this movie a hit, and I think we're all just lucky to have him. So I'm super psyched. I think he's doing awesome. And no, I wasn't for that. But to the other point that was made is, I also love that not only did he want Black Adam to be, the star of his own film, but at the same time, he still wanted to use that film to connect to previous films and also expand the DC universe on film. So in order to do all of those things, like, as a DC fan, how can you not be excited about that? I think it's all great. I'm so glad that he's one of us, but here's my only concern is he's also the hardest working man in Hollywood. He's always busy. Yeah. So I just hope he's got room in his schedule to continue coming back to DC in between the other stuff he wants to do.
Well said, my friend.
Amen to that, man. Or gives one of his management team the keys to the kingdom for a bit and says, just make sure this ship is going in the right direction.
Right. Build in Windows, Black Adam Windows, because we waited too long for the first one. I don't want to wait this long for the next, or for him to meet Shazam or whatever.
Nobody pitch him Jumanji Tree, please.
Yeah, no one do Jumanji Tree. Well said, Andy. Thank you so much for that wonderful content.
He's the type of guy that would film Jumanji in the day and Black Adam at night. Like, I'm just not gonna sleep for 6 months.
Yeah, the Michael J. Fox Back to the Future method.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this to Matt because he kind of started off with The Rock. So I'm gonna give him a different question. Ooh. Who's your most anticipated JSA character, my friend?
I think Hawkman. I don't have a ton of history with the JSA like I do the Justice League. That's kind of my bread and butter. But I do fondly remember just being younger and having visions of Hawkman in the animated universe. And I was just always like, man, he is so badass. And just from the previews I've seen, with him kind of going face to face with some villains and his tools and weapons and how he looks, I think he just looks awesome. I think Dr. Fate, from what I've heard, will probably steal the show, and I'm prepared for that. But I would say for me, Hawkman. So yeah, we'll definitely see.
Wonderfully said. All right. We have a new member, and then we're going to get Adam back on here, but we have from Gathering of the Geeks, he's the Vigilante's ass. He's America's ass. Chris Evans.
I'm doing super.
We got The Rock and Chris Evans here. How amazing is that?
How's it going?
Dude, so happy to have you. So happy to have you here. That was the same sentence twice. I think Super's getting to me.
That is a
already.
super shirt, by the way, Chris.
Stop it, Zeddy.
It feels super also.
We're just,
I think Nico's the only one playing this game.
I'm committing to the tailgate, guys. That's why we do this.
I got your back.
Yeah.
Mojo. I got your back.
If you've all watched World's Finest,
But
Chris is just
if
as much as
not-
an instigator with the super word as anybody else was.
If you're
Right.
not, it's totally okay. We respect it. I'm just having fun with so much old pals, new pals. This is amazing. Chris, your most anticipated JSA member.
I don't have a lot of history with the JSA. I don't really know them that well, but I think I love Dr. Fate already because it's Pierce Brosnan.
That's
So I was kind of
You're
sold
much
on
like
that.
Javi with the James Bond. Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's like James Bond is in a DC movie. Sign me up today, tomorrow, and the next day. So I'm all in for Dr. Fate. I hope he doesn't die. I didn't think about that. I'm not gonna look at Eric.
Yeah, I had heard nothing about that. Now I'm worried too. Didn't even cross my mind.
But Pierce Brosnan is older. Maybe he doesn't want a franchise. I don't know. But
It's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope though. I like the idea of it though. So
That
he is
old,
my
is he?
most.
How old's Brosnan?
And did you say, Chris, you're also going to be Ted Lasso for
69, I think.
Halloween?
Yeah, my daughter decided this year we don't have to match costumes, so I think I'm gonna be Ted.
I love it. We will send pictures back and forth of
Yes,
ourselves.
we'll
I
have
love
to.
it. I love it. It's double lassos and
Multiversal Teds.
Emmett could be our Coach Beard, who travels
He
both multiverses. He could travel both multiverses. I did see that, Andy. You might have to peace out. Andy, you might have to peace out in any closing thoughts on the film, and also talk about Holy Backcast, because this is your first time on our show. So please plug your show. Tell us what you're doing. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna go in a few, make room for folks who are waiting to come in. But it's so great meeting everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad we could make it work out. Closing thoughts on the movie. Can't wait. Next week, it's coming before we know it. This week we got Halloween next, which I haven't seen yet. Nobody said anything. Next week we got Black Adam. I love October. It's amazing. So
Yes.
I'm just super psyched, and I'm super psyched to break it down after we all seen the film, and we can talk about all the stuff, and it'll be great. So really looking forward to it. And then Holy Batcast. I waste too much of my life talking about Batman and the DC universe weekly.
Gotta waste it all, my friend. It's well
You
worth
ain't
it.
wasting our time, brother. Don't worry.
Fantastic show. One of
That's
the
right.
first shows we listened to as V39.
Yeah.
So it's like full circle to have you on here. Same. I know that Carlos shares that same sentiment as well. So it's super awesome to have you here, man.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
man.
that's very sweet. That means a lot to me. I really do appreciate that.
The star man of Vigilantes here. Don't worry.
I love it.
That's
All right, you guys have a great time. Have more
Thank
drinks
you,
for
Andy.
me, and we'll talk about Black Adam next week.
Absolutely.
sir.
Appreciate you,
Talk soon, brother.
Okay, bye.
All right. So let's see if he's no longer a cyborg.
Hopefully, Cyborg has let go of
Yeah.
Adam. Adam, come on.
Can you hear me?
There
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
It's nice to be back with you guys. I always enjoy coming here, and I've podcasted, vidcasted, whatever you want to call it, with most of you except for one, I think, and including the one that I haven't podcasted with, I can honestly say none of you are candy ass jabronis. So there you go. to keep the and I've podcasted with a couple of them, so I know. But I don't know what all this super stuff is. You guys are dancing around the issue. We all know Tom Welling is going to cameo in this movie, so let's just get it out of the way now.
What an entrance by Adam. He's not even holding back. Look at this entrance by
Oh
Adam.
man.
With his red jacket, by the way, his red leather jacket. That's a spoiler. So
Not the Black Duster,
bad.
not the Black
No,
Duster.
not the Matrix style one. The red leather.
Hey, I actually love that costume. Yeah.
I do too.
Same.
Right?
Same.
It's cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's a blast. I'm happy to be here, and it's awesome. Awesome.
Wait till you
time.
guys see Constantine in the film. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Which one, Matt Ryan?
That actually might be
or-
a spoiler, bro. Oh man. Jesus. Look, we're all excited to see Amelia Harcourt in the movie, okay? Let's just call it what it is. Like,
Listen, no.
Don't make me get the pen. You want me to get the pen? Because you just mentioned one of them.
As long as you don't put my wife on that pen, you put whoever you want on that.
Real quick, Zed, before we move on.
Yes.
The last member. I have to do this because Super Secret is in the name.
It's not
of the
really a
show.
secret
And
anymore.
Super Secret is his
You know.
name. I'm not sure if he's watched long enough to know that every time that we say Super, you have to. But Mr. Josh Legern,
You
the
just said it
biggest
3 times
49ers
in a
fan
row.
I know. Mr. Josh, how are you, brother? Love the glasses, by the way. Those are fire.
I'm doing well. How are you?
You
all?
look like a certain reporter in the DC universe right now.
A certain reporter who may or may not be in the latest movie.
A super reporter.
Yeah, it's
a certain reporter who wears multiple suits in the DC
Okay,
universe.
all right.
Hey, Tom Welling wore glasses in season 9 and 10. I'll have you know. So
make Eric's face, make Eric's screen big again. Hurry up.
Josh, so glad that you're here. Tell us your anticipation for the movie.
Yes.
What you think about The Rock? Your favorite, your most anticipated JSA member?
Well, I'm having a little maker's mark on the rocks right now.
Oh,
love it.
Very nice.
That's lovely. And yeah, I'm very much looking for. Look, is Black Adam like my favorite DC character in the world? No. Am I a huge fan of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Like huge fan of Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Not necessarily, but I've got to tell you, the guy knows how to get people hyped, and the level of anticipation that I have for this film is so high now. I can't wait. I am really looking forward to it. Thank you for the comment. Cheers. I like my glasses too. Yeah, and that Nico, that was my thought when you were going to be Ted Lasso for Halloween. I was like, Ted Lasso or Mike Ditka?
I can't be Mike Ditka, Josh, because we have the worst organization in the National Football League. So,
dude's got a point.
Hey, you got a great quarterback though. You got a great quarterback in the making.
Well, great might be an underutilized term at the moment, but we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. I mean, he was carrying the team on his back last night. But, you know.
Oh, he was carrying a lot of people on his back, apparently.
Yeah.
Too many.
So yeah, but I'm excited, and I'm excited because the discourse with our friends, like the friends that we've made in the circle, it's just so much fun. It's so great to be with everyone. I've been MIA on the podcast front, so yeah, it's.
You take that back, Eric.
Here. Anyway, nice to see you all. Good to be here.
Yeah, Josh, I violently love your glasses. Just to throw back.
Yeah, I violently appreciate your background. It's I'm loving all the gear. I'm in my kitchen because I just got finished with work, and so I'm
yeah, any port in the storm, brother.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
perfect. All right. Matt, talk to us, man. What's up, man? What's up? Talk to us. Tell your mind, brother.
What's going on? What do you want to know?
All right, let's. I don't know.
I love that segue.
I know, right? I was trying to go somewhere here, but I don't quite know.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, go for it. Brother. We'll come back.
Do you think this movie should have came out 2 weeks ago because of Black Panther 2 coming out? I feel like this could have made a lot more money if it was positioned a couple weeks ago. I don't want to play that game because I'm gonna watch the movie multiple times and enjoy it. But you know that WBD is a money-driven thing now. That's what they love most is money. Do you think it should have been a couple weeks earlier? Just because there's nothing. It seems like there's nothing at the box office that would have stopped it from having a couple extra weeks like dominating. I just thought about that the last couple of days because.
Yeah.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, man. I think that they should have definitely released it a couple of weeks ago. Because like you said, there's been nothing since basically late July. There was this huge vacuum left September and middle October. And then you've got about 3 weeks before Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out. That's going to be a huge film and going to suck a lot of the superhero oxygen out of the room. So yeah, I think that it would have been smarter to do that. But Warner Brothers has never really been particularly adept at release date scheduling. There's been a couple other, like for example, Shazam kind of suffered from the same thing. It came out just a few weeks before Captain Marvel, and it, I don't think we expected the first Captain Marvel to make $1 billion, but it did. So, you know,
It was 3 weeks between Captain Marvel and Endgame, I think, or Infinity War. I think it was Endgame. It was between those 3 weeks between both of those. It was in the middle of those.
Yeah, that was a bad spot.
To be honest, the thing that really killed Shazam was that they put Endgame tickets on sale the day that Shazam opened. So, like, as a family guy, I'll tell you right now, like dropping $100 on movie tickets it's a heavy hit, and then to drop $200 on movie tickets because you got to get your Endgame tickets locked up as well. I think that hurt them. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think the ideal date for them, and to be honest, it would have helped both movies is if it kept that original date and Super Pets opened this coming Friday, because Super Pets and Wakanda Forever aren't going to have the same kind of overlap. But yeah, it is what it is. If they did need the time, maybe they needed to change the dates to facilitate whatever they're doing in the end credit scene, right? So if that's the case, then it might have been well worth that changeover.
Tom Walling's got a busy schedule, folks.
Jesus Christ! Go watch the All Talkville podcast. Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
I think just to spin it and throw devil's advocate at this one. The Rock went head to head with Jumanji 2 with the Star Wars film in December, right? And that stretched out to almost $1 billion. And then you also look at the hype in the last 2 weeks for this film. You know, every time you see someone dumping a prediction, it's $10 million higher, what have you. You know, it could have also been around accommodating The Rock a bit because you need him to build that hype. And if his schedule didn't allow for these last 2 weeks of that, you know, maybe you don't get that 2 week build into Black Adam if this does release 2 weeks earlier. You know what I mean? Like, so I think in the absence of that, I'm trying to think around and outside of the box on this one. Like, how does this make the most sense? And could this movie have been as big? Probably. You know, would you like a 4 or 5 week run into it? Maybe. But 3 weeks, I think, will be sufficient for this thing to make enough money for them to say, like, all right, this is franchisable. Let's roll with this. I think they've already made that decision, but you know, they're going to wait for a number or two, right?
That's a great point about the external factors that we just don't know about, like his availability and like just even stuff like the XFL getting its season underway. Maybe that's something that factored in that isn't even on the table for us. So yeah, that's an awesome.
Oh, let me say at the premiere, his tequila, Tanamana, whatever it's called, they were giving out free drinks of it.
Is it good?
Free. It was very good. I was very, very surprised.
Is it smooth?
That they had it. Yeah, it is. It's smooth.
Was it super?
Stop.
It was super.
Everyone has
I know.
Everyone's got to have a tequila these days.
You know, I kind of wonder though so we know WBD and any film company, they're about the money. We're fans. We don't get the money anyway, so it doesn't matter to us. But I kind of wonder if they have something to where, as long as it makes a decent chunk, they're happy with. Because I don't think they should expect $1 billion from this movie.
I think they've got to know, like, they're probably factoring in the reason why they've had to delay it so many times. First, because of the pandemic, and then, you know, the visual effects, you know, the queue that was in waiting. So I'm sure they have an idea of, look, if this doesn't hit exactly where we had initially projected it to be, there's some allowance for it, if you will, so to speak. Now, if it bloody well tanks, then it's a different ballgame. But I'm talking about, you know, if it misses the mark by a certain amount, I think they'll be cognizant of those factors. But also, again, I can't remember who just said it, but you can, like, The Rock's popularity aside, you know, he's said it himself in multiple interviews. You know, everybody here knows who Black Adam and the JSA are. Average Joe Schmo on the street,
has no clue.
Prior to this, had no clue, right? So, if I'm gonna, I know we haven't gotten here yet, but if I'm projecting, if this thing makes around 500 to 650 mil worldwide, I think WB Discovery would be ecstatic.
Yeah, well said. See, for me, if I was the head of the studio, which, let's be honest, if I was,
that'd be a super idea. If you had
everyone voted against me, so
y'all know I'll be making some wild.
I mean,
y'all know me. I'd be making some wild decisions if I was head of studio. But so like to go back to like the start of the question and then progress to where the wonderful conversation is headed, because all you guys have fantastic points, absolutely sensational. Is my favorite, like my preference actually, where I think would have been the most successful, and this might be a hot take, was around Labor Day when it was like Top Gun versus the re-release of No Way Home at the box office. I think that 4 or 5 day weekend could have been huge, because some kids, especially like the city public schools, aren't in school yet still, so you still had that like last bit of the summer audience who could have went over that weekend. I do think having a couple extra weeks before Black Panther would have been huge, because I do think I'm like in the camp, like not a lot of people are talking about, like, or maybe it's just like my algorithm and things I'm not seeing, but I feel like the world is sleeping on how big Black Panther 2 is going to be, because I actually think it's not only the sequel to one of the biggest MCU films, one of the biggest comic book movies ever, and it was so loved and critically acclaimed, but also I do think there's going to be a massive level of intrigue, unfortunately, due to the absence of Boseman too. I think people are going to be really interested to see how they were able to create a story around that loss, but also trying to tell something that was also going to preserve the story of Wakanda. Going back to The Rock and Black Adam's box office, and I'm about to ironically blow the doors off this before I have to head out for a sec, but I'm also curious, and we have some guys on screen and in the chat who sometimes have a little information, so maybe they know this, maybe they don't. I'm also wondering if this release date has anything to do with the amount of time it took to get the alleged speculated post-credit scene. I mean, let's be honest here. In a lot of the recent press tours, they're saying it took 6 years. It took a lot of work. His comments, does anyone remember his interview with Brandon Davis at Comic-Con back in July when he used words, the fans want so-and-so to win. I want so-and-so to win. We're hoping for it. Now, that was in July. It's October. So I'm wondering, my guess is that alleged, speculated, potential, hypothetical scene happened extremely recently. And maybe that's why the release date is when it is. I know the VFX was originally a thing, but that's why it was the fall anyway and not its original date. That already happened. That was already, I think, settled.
He got booed.
Black, I know.
It was an awkward comic, and
which is kind of stupid to boo the guy because he has.
Just the answer was like your typical like studio answer, just walking around like I don't know who. And he doubled down after and said no, like he talked about his Henry Cavill comments, but it was nice to see him put his foot down, like you're saying, Nico. Like I want this. If this, like Carlos said it first, if this is what took us to get to this point, we had to wait this long to get this little extra scene, and fine, that's just the way it shakes out.
Or maybe like Garrett's saying here, well said, Travis, or maybe like Garrett's saying here that just maybe it was so fortunate of this delay that they were able to do it, right? Because you're right, going back to July, it was not certain, and the way he's talking about it now is not the way he's talking about it again. I'm also going to play conspiracy theory because I want you guys to talk about it. Remember the Deadline article that said like fans are speculating Cavill's going to be in it, which led to the disappointment at Comic-Con? I wonder if that came from The Rock's camp to convince WB. I don't know. Let's play that game. Talk about it. So everyone's smiling.
Who are you, Wendy Williams? What's going on here?
I'm Nico Williams.
I want to hear what Timbo thinks about that one.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Whatever it is, and whatever, I don't even know what you guys are talking about right now because I haven't seen nor heard of these rumors, these hypotheticals that you're throwing out there. This is it's like you know what I mean? Like Eric's seen it, but I haven't seen it, and so I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't spend a whole bunch of time on Twitter. I really don't know, but something like that would be cool. And you know what I mean? If it took a bit of time to get there, you know what? Like I think it really has to go back to, I can't remember who made the comment, but it's exciting, but the film has to be judged on the film, not the expectation of what could be or what won't be or what it should have been, right? Like we have, like The Rock has to perform here. The Rock has to deliver a performance that's outside of kind of his typical brand. I think at this point in time, for me at least, that's what I want to see. And you know, let's just wait. You know, I got a week here to get into this, and I love sitting here speculating with you guys and digging into it. But unfortunately, I do have to pull the shoot along with Nikko here too.
Yeah,
and so I really appreciate you guys inviting me on here, letting me speak a bit about this. Elaborate more on and really build the hype around what this film is going to be. I'm not even going to speculate that it could be. This film is going to deliver, I think, on many different levels, and it's going to be a lot of fun to experience, I think, across the board, and then revisit it down the road and say, where were we sitting? What was this? What we wanted to be? Did it deliver on what it could have been? And I'm walking in not with like those sky high expectations, but with just enough to say, like, I need very little to happen. I just need really Dwayne to show up in a Black Adam costume, and I think we're there.
Amen, brother. In fact, like I screen recorded that clip with Tim talking about how he's more excited about this than like any MCU thing recently.
Dude, you post that everywhere.
Hey, I'm an MCU fanboy, like, at heart, but I will never ever sit and say this. I'm more hyped for. I was not hyped for Thor: Love and Thunder. I was not hyped for whatever. But like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be bold and honest on here. And Black Adam, Batman was my most hyped movie of this year. You can go back and listen to our podcast. And Black Adam might have not even been on the radar. But like, at this point in time, like I have a feeling I know what Black Panther is going to deliver. I know how I'm going to feel inside of that movie. There's going to be twists and turns and all that. But this one just has such a big question mark on it for me. And that's what I find so intriguing about it.
Love it, Tim. Thank you so much for joining. Unfortunately,
yes.
I got to bounce as well. So here's the thing. I normally never have to leave early on these because it's me, Zeddy, and Pops till the end, which means we have to do this again soon. You're legally obligated to do this again with us soon. But Zeddy's going to keep the ship rolling. Thank you so much to everyone, all of you, my wonderful pals. The biggest blessing, I know we don't like to look at COVID in a positive light, but there were some positive, gave us this beautiful podcast community. It reformed friendships like Mr. Matt Sheehan as well. So good to see you, my friend. Let's all talk about Black Adam next week after it comes out, but this show is going to keep rolling. I'm going to bounce. See you guys on the other side, and it's going to be super, super great.
Last one. All right. So Travis. Yeah, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
I'll just echo what Tim said.
Yeah.
In that this film, everybody is hyped up for the potential, end credit, rumored scene, whatever. I can't wait till next week so we can stop dancing around this thing. But aside from that, the film has to stand on its own because a minute to 30-second thing is not going to make or break this film. And for me personally, I was corrupted by Cyborg and all that stuff before I could get on, so I couldn't answer the question. But in terms of my hype for this movie, I've been a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson since his wrestling days. He's on my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers / sports entertainment, whatever the hell you want to call them. So he's been up there from the beginning. And then the minute I found out that he was going to play this role, I was excited. Now, am I going to lie and say, oh my God, I was a JSA fan since I was 9 years old? No, I'm not going to lie and say that. But, I came into the JSA, around when Jeff Johns had his long established run. He's the one that did a lot with Black Adam and especially the Hawkman. And, now he's returning to the JSA. It's starting a new monthly series in November. So, I've been stoked for this thing before any potential cameo was rumored or leaked or what have you. And so the other thing is my other most anticipated character is probably Hawkman because he just looks so badass in terms of, to the point of, Carlos corrupted me to buy the action figure. And now, probably when I leave this damn stream, I'm probably going to buy Dr. Fate. And I'm looking at Eric to see if is that an investment I should make, Eric? message me after the stream and let me know. But yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm very excited. So I can't wait. Regardless of what cameos may or may not be in this film.
Nice. All right, so Travis, I know you kind of told me it's kind of really late by you, so we thank you for joining us, obviously, and sharing your thoughts. And look, jokingly, we've been very on the nose with this all along, and of course, we're not going to go any further than that. But speculatively, assuming we know what the end credit scene is, how would said credit scene make you feel, and what are your closing thoughts on Black Adam, sir?
I don't care if the Mets trumpet guy is playing in the background as that character comes in. I don't care what noises, because that's just another nauseating argument that I mute. I would just be happy, not because, like everyone's saying here, I'm already excited because the first thing I heard about this was Man of Steel meets Dragon Ball Z in terms of the action. And that was all I needed to know, like what The Rock knew, what this Black Adam movie, the majority of it should be. So I'm already in on that. I'm re-energized because we needed a win after the Batgirl cancellation. Like, it was pretty doom and gloom here. I've been pretty hopeful and optimistic for a long time. And I've enjoyed a lot of the DC films. Suicide Squad was amazing. So I've just been enjoying. I didn't want them to full reboot, so I'm kind of excited about that. It seems like with The Rock here, so I'm just excited about this film. Everything Eric said got me even more excited. And thank you for not giving away anything, just building a bit more hype. So
yeah,
great poker face, my friend.
I'd never do that.
He would never do that.
But also, this was so much fun. Zeddy, thank you for having me, guys. It was great talking to some of you guys for the first time.
Nice meeting you, man.
I see you all on Twitter anyway. It's great to follow your shows.
Travis, I just want to say to you, your Newfoundland accent is giving me like so much life.
It's really hard to not. I grew up in a small town with 200 people, graduated with 10 people, so it's really hard to get this accent away.
No, it's amazing. I love it.
So,
I love it. I love regional accents. They just give me so much joy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You would make a wonderful American actor one day, my friend.
I'm very hyped for this film.
You know?
I'm very hyped because I, like Adam, have been a fan of The Rock for, my God, so he's my favorite wrestler. So, and I knew that he wasn't in it for himself. He wanted to build out, and you can see, I don't think he wanted this movie, but the potential thing that we talked about, just to build towards. And my S guy is that's the guy. You can have complaints about everything in the film he had, but I don't think there's many people that have complaints about that actual actor playing that character. So I'm excited for the future of that and the present with this film. So just can't wait. And
nice.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you again for having me.
Where can everybody find you, brother? Please plug away.
Travis_156 on Twitter. And I do 2 shows for the Geek Ultimate Alliance. Superhero discussions where we focus on animation. There may be a name change coming to that finally. And DC Alliance, where we've been sifting through the horribleness of DC for a while. It spurred us to do Smallville retro reviews, so that was fun. I forgot how fun the first season was of Smallville, and ridiculous at times. So yeah, check out both those shows if you can. Thank you guys again. It was super fun. I hate time zones. That's my closing.
Take care, brother.
There you go. Man. Take care. Enjoy the movie.
We'll talk soon.
It was good meeting you.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to go back over to Matt here. So obviously I'm going to give you the same question. Obviously, just to give a little spin on things too, because I think Nikko made a great point about, just what the gauge of the general audience, might be with this movie. Because I've been a big proponent that, all movies this year have heavily relied on good word of mouth, a manageable runtime, and just overall positive reviews. That's really what it all generally comes down to. I mean, look, we can spin the wheels whether or not the Batman should have made $1 billion, whether or not it made what the studio expected it to do. I think they were gangbusters at what it made. It was
it's getting a sequel and a spinoff, so I think it did well.
Exactly. And look, and if anybody, I knew the movie was going to be big, but did I think Top Gun Maverick was going to be the biggest movie of the year? No. So, and again, that's just a testament. It's a great movie. Reviews were good. The runtime was manageable. Multiple viewings were a thing. So, Matt, what's just your take on, just the general consensus on the movie? And of course, speculatively, what would the end credit scene mean to you? Believing what we think is true.
Man, I feel like the last couple of days I opened Twitter and it was all Nikko just retweeting reviews of people who had gotten early screenings, and they were all extremely positive. I mean, not just, this was a good movie, but that The Rock killed it, Dr. Fate killed it, the VFX was just amazing. That one scene we keep referring to is exciting and really thrilling for people. It is for me to know. I'm a little annoyed that that's like just out there in the open, and I feel like everybody knows about it now. I saw one specific tweet. I believe she deleted it, but from a YouTuber, not going to name names, but that like said the amount of seconds this person showed up. And I was like, why do you got to do that? Like, I don't know. That kind of
just her way, man. It's just her way.
Can't stand her.
It truly is. And
was that our friend Miss Well?
Oh God, please. Her voice is so grating on my eardrums. Anyway,
we are not affiliated, nor do we condone said individual. So Matt, please continue, sir.
I'm very glad about that. I'm glad it was taken down and that people responded as such as we are now. I am a huge Man of Steel guy. I mean, I loved that movie about a month ago or so. I just felt like I needed some movie to watch that brought hope and, joy. And I was like, Man of Steel, I think would be something good to watch. And it just, I don't know, there's a good feeling about it that I had from watching it. And he talks about it, how the S means hope on his chest. And I want to see Superman in his complete strength with the backing of a studio that listens to the fans, which I think we'll get from The Rock. I think we need Henry Cavill just sold to do multiple projects, movies, and kind of see where everything takes us. So I am extremely excited for this movie, more than I have been for any of these other movies coming out. I liked earlier, people were asking about should it have been released a couple weeks ago. Maybe so. I went to see Smile a couple days ago, if you guys have seen that. There was actually a lot of people in the theater on a Tuesday night in Peoria, Illinois. Peoria, Illinois is not a movie theater town. I'm from St. Louis. I remember going to Star Wars and, Dark Knight trilogy in theaters, and you'd have lines out the door, right? Chicago's the same way. Peoria is not that. And so seeing a lot of people in there, I think if Black Adam would have been released a couple weeks ago, you might have had some extra money there, but I think 3 weeks. Somebody mentioned that earlier. 3 weeks is a good amount of time. So I think what we need to do as super fans is definitely see it multiple times, but then also tap into those people who are on the fence about seeing it. So I'm seeing it with my buddy opening night. I don't think he would have seen it unless I said, hey, let's go see this movie, right? I'm going with my brother-in-law a couple of days later, hopefully taking some of his friends. Don't know if they would have seen it. They might have waited till HBO Max. Now that's a group of people going to see this movie. If a lot of people do that, I think we'll see some success in the box office.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go back over to Eric, who I'm sure is going to gingerly answer this, and I'm going to go back over to Carlos here, because let's do one more thing here, and then let's just talk about expectations. So, Eric, for yourself speaking, were expectations met with the movie? And talk to me about that. Like were they blown out of proportion? What should people's expectations be of the movie, and were yours met? What do you think?
It's a weird answer because I didn't have a lot of them. I just because I know the characters, the Dr. Fate was the one character who I knew the most about. So he was the one I was interested most in seeing. And yes, he met my expectations. That character is excellent in the film. Brosnan is great in the film. And what I know of the character's mythos, it's definitely a good interpretation of that. So I was very, very happy about that. But everyone else, I really only knew Black Adam from a couple things, and the Injustice game and things like that. So those are my references that I pulled from, and I knew nothing about Cyclone at all. We haven't even mentioned her yet, but I knew nothing about Cyclone. I didn't know much about Atom Smasher, so I didn't have a lot of expectations. I'll tell you one thing that pulled me in, though, when I saw in the trailer when Amanda Waller showed up. When I first saw her in the trailer, I was like, okay, now I'm even more interested because I love her. I love Viola Davis, number one. and I love the character that she played in the Suicide Squad movie. So I'm like, okay, this is building. It's really becoming more than what I thought it would be. So at first my expectations were low, but then as I started to see more from the trailers, they were heightened. And for the most part, yeah, I mean, they were met. It's a movie that, I said this before, it's very fast paced. It's an action film, number one, guys. If you are looking for some deeply psychological film, this is not the movie for you. You definitely want to go into this as I'll call it more of a guy movie, right? Guys, things blowing up, action packed, stuff like that. It's definitely more of that kind of a film. So definitely expect that. And it delivers. It really does deliver. And I loved it. I said it before, I loved it. The other thing I'll say too, it's really good they took the time with the CGI to fix it and make sure that was done correctly, because I remember the first trailer, some of the things were kind of like that didn't look so good, but in this they really cleaned them up. It's a very, very clean film from that part. There's a few scenes where you're going to be like, okay, that was green screen, or that was, you can kind of tell, but that also was fantastic. The work they did to fix it, and I'm glad they waited. Now I know everyone was mad when they kept pushing it back, like, oh crap, they keep pushing it back again and again. But trust me, guys, you are gonna, when you see the film, you're gonna be like, thank God, because it's such a clean film. And the only thing I'll say about it is the villain's a little weak.
Okay.
That's it. The villain is a little bit weak.
So Mephisto didn't deliver after all, huh?
So Eric, a weak villain. So you're saying like 2/3 of the MCU, right?
It's all, not just the MCU. A lot of comic book films, that's kind of the weakness in them. The
reason I point that out is because somebody was like, one of the person that saw it earlier was like, it's a mid-tier MCU film with a weaker villain, and it's got it's a CGI fest in the third act and comedy, and I'm like, wait a minute, you just described 2/3 of the MCU. Like, let's be honest. Let's not pretend they're making Gone with the Wind.
Right. That's what I mean about expectations. I wasn't going in expecting it to be the Batman or something like that. I didn't have that going into the film. I expected it to be a Rock movie, and that's basically what you get. You get him, but like I said before, he's not playing his typical role. He definitely does show a little bit of range as an actor in this film. But yeah, I mean, I think, knowing most of you for a little while in here, I think you guys will like it. Matt, I don't know you that well, but from how you're speaking now, I think you'll enjoy it as well. I think fans of, like I said before, if you like the Aquaman, you're probably going to like this movie.
Awesome.
It's a good benchmark. Okay, yeah. So Carlos, obviously, I want to, get what your expectations were and are, and obviously, like we've been saying the whole stream, man. Just regardless of how you feel about, The Rock as a person, as a celebrity, look, he's attempting to do something that he's never done in his career, right? And that's introduce a whole section of DC lore for the first time, right? Like characters like you and I, like all of us, we might have seen some of these characters on Smallville, or if you're watching Stargirl right now, you might have seen some of these characters already, but in a big screen capacity, he is attempting to do something that nobody's done before. So just talk to us about that, man.
Yeah, like my expectations and my hopes are kind of what I say all the time with these. Like, I freaking love DC. I love the DC characters. I love the DC universe. And I just want this movie to deliver them in a manner that causes a bigger, wider audience to embrace them and to love them. So if, you're going to Walmart and you see kids buying Dr. Fate helmets because they want to role play or whatever, like that's what I want to see this film bring. I want to see people get excited for the next chapters and demand that we see more of these characters. So that's what my expectation is, and what Eric's saying like makes me hopeful. I think it's interesting, like Black Panther is going to be an unmitigated success, but I think it's interesting that we have this DC film that's coming out that is going to be a short 2 hours, action packed with lots of one-liners and a post-credit scene that's going to get everybody hyped. But then we have a Marvel movie coming out that's going to be a little more cerebral, a little more emotionally based, and is going to be a little more somber, and is going to have a extended 3-hour runtime kind of thing, right? So I'll be curious to see how these two play out, and I am hopeful that a wider audience will discover and embrace not only Black Adam but also the Justice Society, and with that success, we can kind of do away with shouldn't we with growing out the DC universe, and that it becomes a no-brainer where it's like, yeah, put these things out, people will show up, right? Like Marvel's in a position where they can put out Moon Knight and She-Hulk on TV, people will show up. Put out a Doctor Strange movie, people will show up. That's where I want this movie to build to.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. So before I go on over to Chris, our guy Matt here, who's a father who just became a father, has to go to some fatherly duties here. So Matt, we thank you so much for giving us your time. We're talking about the movie. I sincerely hope you enjoy the movie. Just somebody that knows you, we've really been talking about the past couple of days here. So again, just give us your closing thoughts on the movie and tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, my wife just gave birth to a kid about a month ago, so he's a great kid, but he's got a bedtime, and we gotta put him down here. So if you guys out there are fathers as well, you understand what I'm saying. I think I'll just wrap up with saying super excited for next Thursday night. You know, the time is finally here. The time is now. We've been waiting for it. This is the most anxious for a movie I've been since the Batman earlier this year, and I was extremely excited for that one too. I've got about equal excitement for this one, I think for different reasons, but really looking forward to seeing The Rock take us in a new direction. The hierarchy is going to change here, and excited to see some super things happen as well. And what I want is a clear cut. This is where we're going. I want the studio, whether it be The Rock as a mouthpiece a little bit, saying these are the movies you're going to get. Here's a timeline. Like that's what Marvel's done an awesome job as. Warner Bros. Has dropped the ball with having a good plan to get the fans kind of ready to go and excited. So let's get that ASAP because I think we all need it. And I hope that this is kind of a starting point, a shoot-off point of this whole new universe. You can find me on Twitter. That's kind of where I do most of this stuff, at Matt Sheehan TV. And I'm also on Instagram, the Matt Sheehan. Those are kind of my top two. So I'll leave it with that.
Awesome. Nice meeting you, man.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. You have a ton of good insight. So thank you so much.
Perfect.
Yeah, I actually want to hear what everyone thinks after you see it next week. Just tweet at me directly because I want to know exactly what you guys think already. So let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. God bless. See you later.
All right, Matt, enjoy the movie, brother. Talk soon.
You too. Bye.
All right. So, Chris, give us some closing thoughts on Black Adam, JSA, future of the DCEU, where you want The Rock to take it. Talk to us, man. What's your closing thoughts?
I'm looking forward to the hierarchy finally changing. We've been hearing this for going on more than 2 years now. I'm ready to finally see it. This is a movie I can't say I was like insanely excited for just because I don't know the character. So for me, it was more like, oh, The Rock is in this? Of course I'm going to watch The Rock be a superhero. Yeah. And then, like Eric mentioned that trailer with Amanda Waller, and that's the last trailer I've watched because I watched that. I was like, okay, I don't need anything else. Because I also love Bella Davis as Amanda Waller. It's just a no-brainer. I'm going to see it anyway. And so going forward, really all I want is a good movie. Just make this one good, and we can figure out the rest later. As long as I enjoy Black Adam, I'm happy. And it looks like from what I've heard and what Eric was saying earlier, I'm going to enjoy this movie. And I think it might just be what DC needs on film. Just a fun, action-packed film. They don't need to compete with anybody. Just make a good film that people like. And I think that's what we're getting. Or I hope that's what we're getting.
Nice.
And I mean, it doesn't hurt that The Rock is a fantastic mouthpiece. I don't think you can get a better spokesperson than Dwayne Johnson when he's into something.
Mm-hmm. That is very, very true. And Chris, again, thank you so much for joining us, good sir. And tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to.
Thanks for having me, and it was cool seeing everybody. Most of you guys, we've done this before, but it was cool seeing the new guys too. You guys can follow me on Twitter at @ChrisEvans0.
Perfect. All right, this man hasn't been a secret all show, but he is definitely super. So, Josh, closing thoughts on Black Adam, and tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, sure. I'm really excited. I mean, I've had opening thoughts, now closing thoughts. So
Yeah.
my closing thoughts are
Walk away, sir.
I'm really excited. I can't wait for Dwayne Johnson in the DCEU. It sounds like this film really embraces the shared universe, which I think is awesome and good. And I'm really excited to see that kind of flesh out more and more as we move along with the films. So, yeah, I'm excited for all of that. And as somebody who has really been a big advocate for, you know, what we're potentially getting in the end credit scene, I am so pumped for that. Potentially, wink, wink. It's yeah. Yeah, I think that I really think that it's a sign that that Warner Brothers Discovery is really taking what fans are saying to heart, you know, and I'm excited for the future. So, yeah.
Perfect. And where could everybody find you, Josh?
Oh, you can find me at Super Secret Josh. I also have a very neglected show called
Yeah, you need to get back on that, sir.
Super Secret HQ. Haven't had a new episode in months, but we have a reboot in the works. I'm actually in discussions with a co-host, so I'm very excited to potentially announce that. A little bit of a format change. We might just do a weekly chat show. So looking forward to making that announcement and announcing that co-host. And yeah, so do that. I've also neglected a podcast I do with Adam.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
We're doing a review podcast of Batman the Animated Series on his podcast network. So we need to get on that.
Yes, we'll do some, yeah.
And yeah, so you can catch us there. Adam will give details of that, but it's the Back to the Batcave episodes. Yeah. And those have been so much fun. We've had a lot of fun doing those, haven't we?
You can't go wrong with Batman the Animated Series, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
I'm sure Carlos could echo that 100%, considering he is Batman after all. There you go. So Adam, my good friend, my good man.
Indeed.
Closing thoughts on Black Adam, and tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Closing thoughts is, like I said, I think from everything, you know, that we've been hearing with the people that have seen it early, and then when I saw Eric's sort of tweet and his video review on for Straight Outta Gotham, I got more excited. Now I'm of the belief that have your standalone solo thing like the Batman and all that, but also have your shared universe. Like if DC has a multiverse, you can allow for both things. This seems to be embracing the shared universe, and it seems to be doing so in a, you know, Eric has described it as an action-packed thrill ride, and being that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the star, that's what I expect. I don't need, like I said, stuff like the Batman, the Dark Knight, you know, on the other side of the aisle, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, that provoke some thought and deep introspective. They're all great, but it seems like sometimes when we discuss these movies, we forgot that, hey, it's okay if I turn off the majority of my brain and have fun for 2 hours. And that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. Now, I don't want it to be as bad as like Transformers 2 through 5. But if it's Transformers or Bumblebee level, I'm fine with that. Give me that. Like that's you know, that's great. And just to see what's really gotten me, because look, I was in anyway because I said The Rock was one of my favorite wrestlers. You know, DC. Look, and I've made this comparison before. It's not a shock. People will laugh. People will say I'm ridiculous. Go for it. But for me, if I had to compare Marvel and DC to a love interest, Marvel is the enjoyable, you know, fun one-night stand that I enjoy, but then, you know, I'm not thinking about her 3 weeks later. DC is the woman I take home to my parents, right? So there's a different enjoyability there with the two franchises. So, but
It's
at the
hitting
same
late
time,
night over here, my friends.
yeah, but
Where's
it's
the
like,
pen?
so I'm actively like, I want DC films to succeed, and having a spokesperson, a face like The Rock, who, and what really gets me is his enthusiasm, his passion. Yes, he's getting a nice sum of money. Let's not kid ourselves. Like, nobody does this work. None of us go to work and say, "Yeah, I'm just going to do it for free and call it a day." Like, there's the payment part of it, but the way he speaks, like, you could see the passion on his face, and that is, you don't see it on that level all the time. And in regards to a potential cameo or post-credit, I don't know if you guys can see this book. There's a glare. There's Batman and Superman on it.
I see them.
Two of my all-time favorite, my favorite characters in any media. If one of them shows up, I'm going to be ecstatic. I don't care what music plays. I don't care
I feel so bad.
if they may or may not be wearing underwear on the outside of their uniform. I don't care if there's a curl in their hair. It'll be nice to see that individual in a film if he's there. So bring it on. But again, I'm there for Black Adam and the JSA. That's what I was originally told I was getting. That's what I've, as an audience member, accepted that I'm getting. Give me that and make it a fun 2 hours, and I'm happy. And by the way, just as I close, and I want to pose this to Eric, my 3 favorite shared universe DC films are Aquaman, Shazam, and Man of Steel. Do you think Black Adam could potentially crack that top 3?
I don't know if it could crack it, but it's going to definitely be in the same mix. It's in the same mold as those 3, yeah.
Awesome,
Definite
awesome.
more Shazam and Aquaman than Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a little bit more serious, I would say, but definitely in the same
Awesome.
family. Yes.
And then in terms of social media plugs, my Twitter handle is @Adam_LeafSfan. I host a plethora of podcasts/vidcasts at the Multiverse Musings Vidcast Network. Zeddy joins me for Power Rangers and Batman Beyond talk. We had Carlos recently on there to talk Batman 3 Jokers. Eric, we have to have you with my two sane co-hosts. You've been on with the crazy ones in the past, but we gotta have you with the sane ones. Chris, you've joined me with for Buffy. We're gonna do some more Buffy talk in the future. And Josh, as you mentioned, the Batman the Animated Series stuff. So that's where you can find me. You can come yell at me for my opinions on Twitter. Go for it. I may block you if you're an idiot, but otherwise we can talk.
Oh man, and real quick here, if there's one thing that I know that Eric is waiting for, it is really next Fridays, because I know he has 2 drafts on his Twitter waiting to just be tweeted out, because he knows far more than we all do about what we've been teasing at the whole time of this show. But until
Can you
Eric
imagine they
finally...
removed that potential thing at the 11th hour? That would be oof.
Fortunately, I don't know if I could pay Eric the some amount of money that I could pay him in order to reveal said information, but that is after show. But Carlos, you've been the biggest champion of this movie. You've been, much like The Rock, fan first as always. Closing thoughts on Black Adam, and tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Man, as far as Black Adam goes, what more is there to say? Except just bring it. Just bring it. So
nice.
That's where I'm at with that. And yeah, you can find me at Canadian Cape Crusader, and every week my brother Tim, who was on with us, he and I run the Nerd Room podcast, and we either have a show, and the odd week we have a toy live stream, and yeah, we talk all the things in the nerdy world, and bit of a focus on toys and collecting. As you can see, I like stuff, and yeah, please join us anytime. And yeah, thanks so much for having me on here, Zeddy. I very much appreciate that.
Of course. And Eric,
yes,
did a marvelous job all stream, and truly doing a great job of telling us what he thought about Black Adam without telling us what he thought about Black Adam. Thank you for being as not spoiler as you can be. It sounds like you really love the movie, and that actually really means the world to me, as I'm sure it does all of us. So just closing thoughts on the movie and what you hope everybody takes away from it, and tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, I'll just say, I'll echo what everyone has been saying all night. I want people to love it as much as I do, and not just obviously us in this world, because we like this stuff usually regardless. So, but I want the general audience to love it too, because it really is, like I said, it really is a fun film. And that's what I think after COVID and when we were all on lockdown and then the slow comeback for a lot of people, sometimes, like you said, you just need to go to a movie and not have to think so hard and just watch and be entertained for a couple hours. And that's really what this movie does. And you can tell, like I said, The Rock is different in it, but it's his type of movie. It's definitely something that we've seen from him before. So I just want everyone to love it and enjoy it. And I definitely, like I said before, I want you guys to tell me after you guys see it, I'm sure you're going to all see it at different times. Let me know exactly, because I am dying to actually talk content about it with people. And right now I really can't with anyone. So I'm really, really hopeful that you guys love it, and then we can get back and talk about it. If you guys want to catch me, you can see my contact information down here at Finally33 on Twitter, also on Instagram. The show I co-host with Pete Vera, is at @straight_O_G. That's our Twitter page. We have a Facebook group as well and a Facebook page. So if you guys are on Facebook, you want to interact with us there, let me know. We'll add you to the group and we can have a really fun conversations there. I promise I won't spoil it there either. So I just do want to mention one more thing. The video I posted on Facebook, I was kind of weird about it because, like, we didn't have to sign any NDAs or anything when we went into the screening. Wow. So, and I know the social media embargo ended at 9:00 the night on Wednesday. So I was in the movie when it ended, but I was told that I couldn't even have posted something like that. Like, they would have done something about that 8-minute video that I did if I did it on Twitter. Because I did it on my Facebook group and it's closed, it was fine. Yeah. It's a private group. If I did it on Twitter, I wouldn't be allowed. So I don't know if you guys know about the social media embargo rules and stuff, but it was just a very strange thing. So I just wanted to close with that little bit of information. If you guys want to do something like that and you get to see something early, just hold it back for a little while until you get the all clear.
Do it on Facebook in a private group.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do it in a private group.
Yeah, well, hey, I still have my Netflix subscription, but there's one thing I know about Netflix is they're very sensitive people, so take that for what you will. For those of us that have had a Netflix plug, just take that for what you will. Love you, Netflix. Just saying. I still love you guys. Okay, so obviously, yes, thank you all, gentlemen, again, for being on the stream, for sticking with me to the very end. I want to thank everybody that came on this stream earlier and gave their 2 cents on Black Adam. Look, at the end of the day, we were all here tonight because we're hyped to see this movie. We're hyped for DC. We want it to succeed, and that's obviously the most important thing to look forward to. Obviously, the question for me is, you guys all know me. That end credit scene, speculatively, if it is what it is, it would mean everything to me. That's kind of where I could obviously leave that. So I hope I love the movie. I hope it moves the DC universe forward. That's the most important thing. The Rock always brings it, pun intended. And I'm just excited to see what he has in store for DC. And that really all there is to it, man. So comment section, you guys were great all night, like you guys always are. So thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video because that means the world to this channel. Really helps it grow. If you don't do that, I will definitely find out and whoop some candy. You know what? Just saying. And of course, yes, you can follow me on Twitter at Nick Zenik. You guys can follow Nico Caruso at Nico Caruso. Nick Caruso Jr. at N Caruso Jr. and follow Vigilante 1939 on Twitter and everywhere else you get your podcast at. That's gonna about do it for the Black Adam Tailgate. Sincerely, from all of us here, I hope you guys enjoy the movie. Let us know what you all thought of the movie. Don't spoil it for anybody if you're late to seeing the movie, and just have fun, man. It's another DC movie in the can here, and like we said, I hope it delivers for all of you. So. Before we wrap up here, though, I got a video message from a certain gentleman here that I just gotta play because it's too good to pass up. So, without further ado, DJ actually sent me a video that he would like for me to play. So, without further ado, everybody, good night, and here's DJ.
And as the man in black himself would say, toodaloo, motherfucker.
Amazing.
That was great.